Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 360th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 24th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's ready to go with today's workshop.
Good morning. Thank you, Rick. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers program of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Today, to those of you who are believers in the path of the Christ, is the Christmas Eve. And to celebrate his birth tomorrow on 25th. And in so many ways, we look to an end of a cycle and beginning of a new one as the 1st of January arrives. We wish you a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year as it comes next week on the eve of New Year of the Christian calendar. Many of you have celebrated 25th during your life, as is the way you've been told. But in fact, the true Christmas, the true birthday of Christ, till some 200 odd years ago, was celebrated on 21st. And about 200 years ago, Vatican decided to shift it to 24th due to one reason. And that was to make more separation that Christianity is not replication of Mithraism, as they tried to separate the church and what we call Roman Empire, the end of the call. 21st of December, what we call in Farsi the Shab of Yalda, which means the longest night, and is considered to be the birthday of Mithra, some 8,000 years ago. And on the other hand, as we said always, the soul of the man is the light, what we see. And Yalda in Farsi means the light, the shine, the brightness of the light, which was the sign of Mithra. Mithra was the soul, and shine the same. And as Christianity as we know it today was adoption of the old Mithraism, so the birth of Christ was put on the same day as birth of Mithra, as his son, or I should say as her son. This is what gradually over centuries, Vatican and the churches washed away for the present Christianity to be on its own. But if you open the books, 21st of December, the longest night, the birthday of Mitra was celebrated as the birthday of Christ too. This is how the Romans wanted it to be. That everyone celebrated their time as they were Mitraism supporters. In so many ways, when we look the truth in the background of what we call Christianity is the teaching of Mitra. The cycle of the beginning and the cycle of where man understood more about his soul and called it the light, the celebration of light. In Jewish religion, we've seen it a couple of weeks earlier, in the same thing but different name, about the same time, Hanukkah. This is how they all copied one way, and that was the path to believing in the Creator. In so many ways, as what we know today was used to be the Persian Empire, extended to Palestine. So now you understand how Judaism is part and in a copy of what it is Mitraism, and the night, the times, and many things replicate within it. In so many ways, they always carried the light. The candle, they light the candle. You make it the Star of David. And everything else has come to one thing: for man to become alert and to know his soul, the light, the ultimate process of existence. In so many ways, mankind has always been told about his soul, even by Mitra, some 8,000-10,000 years ago. And if you look deep enough, the Jews speak about 6,000 years or about history, where in fact there are 2,000 years copy of what Mitra brought, and they could translate it to their language. In understanding this, it means those who were, those who understood the truth about the creation, even when we brought in the faith of Zoroaster, they kept a fire going in a physical way, in temples, in Mabat, and what we call the house of fire, the room of fire. And that was man interpreting the soul of himself as a fire, as a light, into physicality of keeping a light, that it always shines. Many of you, I'm sure, who've been into Zoroastrian temples, been to the room of light, the room of light, the room of fire, where fire has been kept on for thousands of years in the same room. It has a different effect when you go into the room of what they call fire. It brings and enlightens the soul of the man, as that fire was set to enlighten the soul. And in so many ways, as the last hundreds of few thousand temples are left within the India and Iranian border with the believers of Zoroaster, the light with the room of fire, mankind has come to understand. We always knew about it. We were told about it, and has never understood at that time we made the symbol of it. In so many ways, the room of fire, the room of light, when you walk in it, as I've done many, many times in my young age, brings you an enlightenment to think, if this fire has been burning in this room, in this part, for thousands of years, or from one generation to another, what was the purpose of it? Maybe mankind for the first time understands. We've always been told our soul is a light, but we chose to ignore. We kept the fire to symbolize it. And in so many ways, as I was explaining to knowledge seekers in the past few days, in the tradition of the what we call present Persia, we never worshipped any statue. It's the only nation and culture which never took in worshipping false creation. Always believed in Mitra, and through Mitraism, we kept the ethos of the soul. Do good, act good, and think good. It does not matter what you do as a good, the others read by it. But at the end, the good, the truth will win, will succeed, as is the conduct of the soul, not conduct of the man. And in so many ways, we go back to one thing. Is the soul of the man in its infancy, at the point of creation, in the womb of the mother, to its completion as a star in the galaxies and the universes, carries the same ethos. And how does it shine? And the way it shines in the whole cycle of its creation, from its birth to its completion. And in so many ways, mankind in a very short time will come to the completion of one cycle and the beginning of the other, where the soul of the man will elevate to understand the totality of the knowledge through what has been given as a gift to man and his soul at the point of inception. Not inception in the womb of the mother, but inception in the realm of the Creator, in the Unicos. Maybe some of the knowledge seekers find the key and find answer in the totality of what they've been asking and searching for thousands of years, in the path and the way to the Creator through the work of the creation and the Creator soul of the man. Maybe some of the knowledge seekers one day elevate their own soul to have access to the totality of the knowledge of the Creator, to understanding the true meaning of the operation of the soul of man. To be humble. In so many ways, in Christianity and many religions, speak about reincarnation, speak about return of Christ, speak about Mahdi and the rest. In a way, that return is return of Mitra, is return to totality and the birth of a new cycle. And that point comes at the point of maturity of the man to understand the totality as much as possible through his own physical understanding. And that cycle, the return of Mitra, in a way the return of the truth for the new cycle to begin, is about to happen. And this is what the humanity and the rest of the universe have been waiting for. Beginning, establishment of world peace, universal peace, and understanding peace comes of do good, act good, and speak good. And in so many ways, mankind is about to mature to that point in totality and in one sweep, that all the souls of the created, of the creation, will elevate to be equal and the same, that there shall be no king and no one to rule above, as all live the same way as the light of Mitra. In so many ways, we give up happy birthday to Mitra, as the old tradition of Iran is, we set the table on 21st to celebrate her birthday. And then we celebrate the beginning of the new year, the beginning of this new cycle, which is the 12th day of Christmas, which used to fall on the 1st of January. And that's how many Christians started the beginning of January as a cycle of new life, where we celebrated 12 days and then we started the new year. And that tradition now has come from the 25th to 12 days of Christmas and the rest of it, and the three wise men of Iran and Persia. In so many understanding, man should understand why 12 days was chosen, as the 12 days, according to the structure of the universe, creates a complete cycle. What you do in 12 months, Mitra achieved in 12 days. And in so many ways, and in so many understanding, the completion of the cycle of the man comes about by understanding of the totality about the truth, about the creation of the man. When Mitra brought the soul of the Creator within the realm of the understanding of the knowledge of the created man. In so many ways, awakening the soul of the man. And from that point on, we have seen the extension of the knowledge to the soul and the soul of the man in a direct way. In so many ways, Mitra took the child of the man to her chest, and through the heart ruled the soul of the Creator, the child at the age of young, when the mother breastfeeds the child, to the soul of the child and the soul of the physicality of the child. Maybe that is why many of you for the first time understand why we hold our children to our heart when the mother breastfeeds, and why we keep them close to us as we blow the soul of the physicality and perfection of the soul of the man to the soul. We nourish both the soul and the physicality at the same time. No other creature does this except man. Except those who understand and start the elevation of the growth of their soul and physicality. In so many ways, mankind feeds the two at the same time. We breastfeed from the dimension of physicality, and by holding the head of the child in the point of his soul to our chest, we elevate the soul at the same time. Physicality is nourished, and then the soul. In so many ways, mankind has to learn the new ways and why we do things. And you'll find out by history of the man, by elevation and understanding of totality, why some children are calm, why some children are wise, why some children understand much easier. Go back and see how they were nourished when they were fed. How did the mother hold them to herself? How she transfers and at the same time nourishes the soul and the soul of physicality of the child at the point of the growth, at the point of establishment of life. In so many ways, mankind has always been so physical that has not understood and seen the truth. And now maybe, as we teach man, gradually mankind leads in the direction of understanding its own creation. Maybe one day, man become wise and truly wise to his own essence and true direction and dimension of creation. And Merry Christmas to all those who believe in the path of Mitra, in different names and by different banners over thousands of years. Change of the name did not change the ethos and the truth. In the past few weeks, as we teach more about the science of the understanding of the process of the travel, and understanding of the dimension of this way the man will take into space, it is important for many of the knowledge seekers, as they are contemplating and moving away from matter state into the dimension of the interaction of the fields. It is important for many of us to dig deeper in the truth, in understanding of the truth, and in being able to siphon the knowledge. In the past week, a lot has been achieved in the Keshe Foundation research centers. In a way, we have brought the knowledge, and as we learn the knowledge, we transfer this time to the soul of those who understand and will be the cause of the elevation of the man. We will not teach through what we call the mass teaching in the media, but we teach to those who their soul is ready to serve humanity. Many of you, without knowing, but work in the same path, will receive enlightenment, will understand the technology in a different way, and each one of you become messengers of knowledge for peace. In a way, from now on, we communicate through the soul of the man, for the man to elevate his knowledge, not on the screens and billboards and blackboards. In a way, that's why we tell you what is achieved, but we don't show you, as we enlighten the soul of those who are there to serve, to be enlightened by the knowledge. In a way, as we see in the lab, those who are sincere will get enlightened through the knowledge and the direction of the soul of the man. In so many ways, we have seen a number of knowledge seekers have in the past few weeks taken this path, and now they teach to others in a totally different new way the interaction of the fields. We do not promote no one. As we have seen, as we promote, we create the downfall of their ego and then the humbleness. In the process of the teaching, many Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers will come to be enlightened by the knowledge. The way we enlighten, as we said, as we teach the whole of universe. Now through the new understanding in the process, as we teach, those men who are true men of peace will receive the message as the rest of the universe through their souls, not through the ears and understanding through the teaching by blackboards, as we call it. In so many ways, the knowledge is being transferred to knowledge seekers. The way we transfer to universal community, as they are not here to listen, they don't understand the voice of the man, but they understand the knowledge as it's transferred across the universe to them to be equal to the others. This way, many of you as knowledge seekers will find that you understand the technology totally in a new way, and you start teaching. Make no mistake, this is our knowledge, and the more you receive through your soul to teach, become more humble. Do not take it as a point of arrogance, as at the same time you'll be taken away from, and it'll be taken from you till you learn the way we work. As we said, the taller the tree, the more it bends downwards to the earth, the more humble it becomes. And this has to be the attitude of knowledge seekers. Many of the knowledge seekers will use these teachings as the process to understand the whole and the totality of it through their soul. And this process will carry on for next 3 months. In a way, you are, as I said before, in a sandbox to listen to your soul. Watch the event. Do not look for the physicality, and understand that that event has come for you to see the connection between your physical life and the cycle of your soul and understanding of it. No one comes to whisper it in your ear, but you will see it in black and white in front of you, and emotionally you feel it, and then you say, how come? Where is my soul? Why didn't I know this? Why do I live this way? And you understand one simple thing. We teach. We teach through the understanding of the soul, and not by term of physicality. Many of you will come to receive the message as we teach through direct understanding the work of your soul. This is why we gave you the 5 cups. And many of you who went through to build these cups was the way, a path for you to connect and build this link we were looking for. This is why we encourage many of you to build the cups. That was a bridge. This was a sandbox for you through the process to elevate your soul, to be able to reach, to understand the knowledge, but this time to elevation of the soul of the man. In a way, we gave you the beacon of light. And now we teach you what the light says, what the light works, how it works. And in a way, last week, we showed you the cup combination. And in a way, as I said in the teaching last week, You don't need to have 4 cups. You need to have and create the dimension of 4 souls that think the same way, work the same way, and through it, they achieve the soul of totality. Maybe for the first time, mankind will understand the reason for the creation of pyramids, why we created the pyramids, and how we created the pyramids. The 4 corners of the soul leads to one. As they elevate to the top to reach and become one, maybe for the first time, mankind understands the reason and the purpose for creating what we called, and many of you never understood, the power of pyramids. The power of understanding of the totality as you placed the 4 souls as you were taught, and this leads to creation of 1 point. And this is the totality. And if you look within the dimension of the work of the pyramid of Egypt, we always said there is one way and in a given direction. This is a direction to the soul of the Creator. It's not for you to find the North Pole, and it's not for you to understand where the center of the universe is, but in fact leads to the direction, to the center of the creation of the universe, to the Creator of the creators. Maybe mankind become mature to reach this point, that in that process, by focusing the energies of the soul of the man in unison and peace, the collective field forces of the humanity, does not matter how many billions, will come collectively to find the direction to the Creator. This is what was left to humanity thousands of years ago by those who understood the work of the creation and the man of space who came to earth to teach man. It does not matter how many points you create, once all work in the same direction, peace and equality, you'll find the new point will be created to the direction of the Creator. In a way, if you look at it, what comes from the creation and what comes from the Creator will lead to 1 point. And in fact, what you send is what you shall receive. In a way, mankind will come to understand a new path between itself and its Creator, to the dimension and the creation of the work of the pyramids. This is why you have and you will find a point that all will be and creates a balanced minimum field, the point of central energy, but in direct, into the direction of the line of the Creator. Because at that point, the communication becomes 2 ways and not 1. Now you understand in so many ways why we gave you the 5 stacker cup. It was a point for you to test and find a way to your Creator through the interaction and understanding of the soul of the man, through the interaction and work of the soul of the man. As you could not understand, we made it simple. Connection of the man to the point and the place of his birth, and connection of the man to understanding the totality of one thing or the other. In so many ways, unravel the secrets of the creation, step by step. This is why we encourage you to build your own 5 stacks. That you understand, you have to bring the soul of the place of the birth, the soul of physicality, the soul of the man, all in one harmony. That in that process, you can see and reach the point and the dimension of direction to knowledge of the universe. In so many ways, many of you who understood the work of these pyramids in the past would have seen one thing very clearly. The pyramids, the same way, point to the center. That in fact becomes one in totality of the creation. Synchronized to understanding of the knowledge of the creation, connected to the place and the point of creation, which is earth for man. One day mankind understands. One day humanity will understand that this knowledge was left with humanity thousands of years ago. Mitra brought it with her. She taught. And that's why you see the building of pyramids, more or less at the same time, as she reached the soul of the humanity at that time, and they all built the same. The same as the way you teach today. Teach through the soul, that the mankind will understand. And as there was no internet and no mobile phones to convey the message, Mitra told through the soul. Mitra reached the soul of humanity, and at the same time, those who understood the knowledge built the pyramids to find a way to the Creator. She didn't travel the span of this planet. She reached through the knowledge of the soul of the man to every man on this planet. And this is why we came, to complete the cycle of Mitra. But this time, mankind in totality with the rest of the universe will travel the path to the Creator. In a way, we move the temple of the man from mosques and churches to the temple of the Creator's home. Maybe many riddles in the direction and dimension of understanding these structures around the world will be solved today as a gift of us to humanity, that now for the first time understand why we built, and we thought to build man, these constructions. If man looks deep within the structure of the universe, you will see stars which set in this way, and in a combination of other stars point to what direction? The path to the Creator. In a way, if you remember about the history of America, how people made patch quilts and hung it on the banners and on the outside their houses to show the black man the way to freedom. These are the same. We built the same. We taught the man the same. These are the signs in the skies above man to show the path to the Creator. It's for man to educate himself, to understand the knowledge. We lay out the knowledge. It's for the man to understand the truth. For the man to understand the knowledge. This is our gift for those who understand, for Yalda and Christmas to humanity. It's the first time we have unraveled the secret in a very clear way. It is for you to understand where you place the 5th cup, or where you placed your soul. And with that, how you work with the earth and all its contents to find a path and a solution for the soul of the man, to find the way to his Creator. In so many ways, mankind is getting ready to meet its Creator. through his soul, but not through the eye of physicality. The day of celebration, the day of understanding. In a way, once the man become knowledgeable to understanding that the 21st of December being the birth of Mitra, Mitra in fact is the Eve, is the Reb from the body of the Creator. This is how man could understand. That's how in history of man has been told by man this way. The day of the birth of Mitra is the day of the birth of Eve, where the Creator created to be loved and to love. In a way, instead of you waiting for thousands of more years for someone to explain to you why and how Mitra came to be on that birthday, is exactly that's how goes back billions of years back, as Mitra itself is a version, a copy of the life and cycle of the Eve. This time, those of you access to the knowledge of the universe would understood this sooner or later. And with it come the birthday and the life and celebration of 21st of March, which brings the birth and cycle of the beginning of life on this planet, where in a coming time will bring the two to be one, and soon mankind will understand. If you go back to the teaching, I explained the pyramids before in a different way, but the same knowledge. You could not understand before. Now you understand. Place the 4 cups, which we taught you last week, and build them in a specific way. You will see that your cups will create a light above. In a way, it shines. In a way, that's why in Christianity you put a star on top of the tree. If you understand it, the center of the tree and the position of its leaves creates the position where the star shall be. We always taught you the same, but as man could not understand, they looked for the physicality. Ask yourself, why we put an angel on top of the tree? The birth of that angel will bring man to the Creator. And that's why we call her the angel. Sits on top, and it's a direction and a dimension to the love of the Creator as he loves his creation. As it shines on top, and it gets shine back on. Remember the principle of plasma, where the strongest gives to the weakest, to rise it to be equal. As the Creator shines on the angel, for it to grow to become a star equal to the Creator, where the life of the creation shall become twin in one, and brings stability for the future of the Unicosm. Now you may understand why and how so many riddles in the knowledge in past thousands of years, as man was not mature enough to understand this. In so many ways, when you put and when you construct a Christmas tree as Christians, or you make a pyramid, remember one thing, at the end of it is to create a shining star of energy that through its strength, which is the totality of the strength of the man, will create a weaker point, that the light of the Creator as a stronger will shine on it and elevate it to be the same and create a new life. And this is the understanding that we have tried for thousands of years convey to man. And now we think man has matured and the rest of the Unicosm to understand. As we said in Corona, Corona has to find a strength equal and a link to the physical cell of the man that it can take and connect to. And then you create a gases which is much weaker to attract that energy, that you allow the cell to live, and you divert and elevate the soul. This has been our way from the beginning of time. This is the way plasma was created, to be able to operate this way. It was not the same from the beginning of time. It's engineered and designed to be this way by the Creator, that it can reach all the time, as He stayed the strongest, that He can feed the smallest and the weakest to reach to His level. Therefore, you do not need to be a genius or a man of whatever to reach, to get access to the line of the knowledge of the Creator. Every created can do, as all came from Him, and all shall return to Him as they become equal. To create a balanced field transfer between them and the Creator. And there is no limit in numbers and positions. As the numbers increases, the strength and the stability of the message becomes stronger and direct to the source and to the Creator. As I said, maybe for the first time mankind understands why we even brought candles on light on the trees in the cycle of the Nowruz with the Iranians and the Persian and the culture of Zoroaster. And this is why the Roman Empire was so memorized, by the beauty of the knowledge, knowing that they're equal to their soldiers and they're equal to the other kings and the rulers. And maybe for the first time, mankind become wise to one knowledge, that is all come from the same source and all goes back to the same source. We came from it and we shall return to it. Depends that is it the earth or is it the Creator? Depending on the strength of the energy which the life created it, depends and communicates and operates through and with it. In coming time, humanity will mature in a rapid way to find a way and to find the understanding of the way to the Creator. Now that we lay the path, many of you knowledge seekers within past hours have received the message through your soul, the true message. And in the coming time, you will teach. You will teach the path of the Creator. You will teach the correct conduct of the man. And all shall wait for the birth of the time of the new cycle that starts on 21st of March. To bring all to one point. To bring the earth and the soul of the universe together in physicality and soul. To become one. And across it, to become as part of the totality. The Unicos has many an edge, and the universe of the man, in so many ways, if you would have looked at many of my work in the past years, sits on the edge. In the way why the earth was chosen to be, is that by going to the furthest, we can cover the totality. In a way, earth is the reference point, not for its beauty, but its position that in fields in the dimension of the Unicos, with all the totality of the universes, all fall within the span between the Creator and the created, which covers all. Maybe one day mankind will understand why has been gifted with the presence of the Creator. In a way, the point of reference and the love of Mitra has brought the two to the same point, that all shall be equal from now on right across the universe, and anything created from that point on will carry the totality of the knowledge of the creation. as has been the wish of the Creator, and the dispensation of the new cycle for Unicos, as all shall be equal. In so many ways, build your cups, understand when you build it, and I tell you one thing. Many of you last week asked me, how are you connected? I've seen you, many of you asking how you connect the boxes. Where does it say? How do you stack it? The answer to you should have been simple. The answer for you is not the star formation as you thought. The answer to all of you is one thing. Stand between it tall and let the light of the Creator shine upon you, and you find the path to the Creator. In a way, the position of your soul, the true soul of the creation, will become the tip of pyramid, and through it you shall be enlightened through the knowledge of the universe in the direction of the creation of the Unicos. No man will reach this point unless comes in with a pure heart and understanding of the totality. In a way, the position of your soul, your own soul, when you have built your system, will dictate the access and the process to the knowledge according to your own conduct during the life of man on this planet and in the universe, and how much you are prepared to give to become one, to stand the totality. This elevation is your conduct. How you conducted your life and how you will conduct the process of the creation of your soul to the point of its destination. Many of you had to understand that you make the cup of life the way we told you, and the way you make your 5-stacker, that from it, in a given position, you place it depending which stacker you have used in the process. What is the soul? That you bring the totality of the strength, and in a way the dimension of the rotation, that it rotates to the point of your soul, and there finds access to its Creator. If you remember, I said the best will be a family of 4. A father, a mother, a child, 2 children, a boy and a girl, where it brings the totality of the balance, and in a way it's the soul of the family which will be enlightened, and all will reach that point. In time mankind will understand, and in time mankind will find a direct path to the Creator, where, as we said, there shall be no prophets and no magician. And this is how we established the Keshe Foundation from the beginning. We will not show the magic as you will create it. You understand that the magic of the Keshe Foundation is the knowledge, to understand the knowledge of the creation and the Creator. And that's all. This is our gift to humanity. This is our gift to the Unicos and what has been created by the Creator. I hope, and my sincere wish is, the soul of the man will accept this time the gift of Mitra, and with it elevates the soul of the rest for the time, the position and the place. Mitra shall return in a short time, as she is amongst us and already present. And in so many ways we'll celebrate her return in a very short time. Now you understand the purpose of the teaching, and in building it up over years and over centuries in different ways, that the man become wise to understand and once understood, chooses one path, the path to the Creator, through the soul and conduct of the soul of the universe and the unicorns, and the collective soul of the man as one, in conjunction with those souls which have led to its creation. The plant, the land, and the soul which created it, the earth. And in understanding it, man will come to understand more about the process of creation in all dimensions and all directions. Today we solved, or in a way we explained, what has been magic for man in respect to the life and cycle of pyramid. But go back to the teaching, and we showed you the path to the Creator. And now you understand why pyramids were built in given numbers and in different positions, as the creation of their energies above them leads to the direction of one little one out of line, which in conjunction with the two will give you the line and a passage to the Creator. Now, as I said, understand why last week I did not give you any connection except the center, the essence and the totality, where it has to be collected and connected. My wish is simple. I hope mankind in the time of the celebration of the birth of Mitra will come to celebrate the birth of a new cycle of life, which is a life of peace and tranquility and equality for all created across the universe. Thank you very much for today. And I hope many of you have found the way and the key to your Creator. And I hope you heard the voice through your souls and not through your ear and the voices of the man. Any questions?
Beautiful teaching. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We had a question in the YouTube, first of all, from Steve, who says, "Hi, Mr. Keshe, the sun is a soul, and in our brain is a soul. So when we die, why does our soul not shine like the sun as it leaves our body? Thank you for giving us knowledge."
It does shine, but the man does not have the eye to see. It lives in a volcanic eruption of lights. It leaves a tail of meteorites to tell you which direction is flying, but the man does not have the eye to see and the knowledge to understand.
I think that is described in some of the ancient teachings about lights and other phenomena upon death. We have another question.
Many of us, we see the light due the time of our existence, but we ignore it. We see the light, traces of it, with the knowledge left behind. We see the light by the conduct of what we left behind. And how we do. It's the souls which shine after we leave, which shows the traces of which way our soul has gone to. And what it does, without actually us seeing the light. What shines after and behind counts to show what we have developed and how it shall be. is a meteorite tail, which that tail and the light from it is the shine which we elevated the soul of the others during our lifetime, that they shine better than if we were not there. The pleasure of life, the pleasure of living, the comfort of bringing to be, and this is how it is. As I've said, for example, and I had another one recently by another knowledge seeker about his father. A few years ago in Tehran, out of nowhere, thousands and thousands of people start walking in the direction of one place. The authorities panicked as there's a revolution. Something's about to happen. But all these people walking, thousands and thousands of them, but because one man, no one known, unknown to public as such, has helped all these souls to have a better life, to find education, to find better life for their children and the rest of it. And on the call of his death, they all went to celebrate the life. And it looked as the small stars, dust trails of a meteorite, but the meteorite has already taken off to follow his path and to show. Many of us in the life of physical creation is read the knowledge, and with it we act incorrectly, as we understand to us to be the truth. And this is where all the problems of the mankind and those in the universe who work this way has been created. Has been source of many conflicts and pain. As the truth was not understood, accepted the way it was said, but it was interpreted by the man's word according to his own misunderstanding. Any other question?
Yes, and I think we need to activate the raise hands thing here for our attendees. So I'll see if that works. There we go. We have some hands up now. Okay, just a second. Okay, top of the list is John Blevin. Would you like to go ahead, please?
Hello, Mr. Kidd.
Hello, Mr. Blevin. How are you, John?
I'm fine, thank you. So my question has to do with, actually I have two questions. The first one has to do with...
Can I ask you a question? You've been talking to Jalal recently a lot.
No.
Because I always got two questions. I thought the habit that's carried on. Carry
We
on.
pick up on each other's bad habits.
It's a good habit. Carry on, please.
So when you talk about the bird leaving the cage, in other words, the soul finding its freedom, we typically think of that as coming out of the top of the head through the crown chakra. Can it also come where the soul meets the heart and the heart becomes enlightened, if you will, or opens up to the bird can fly out through the heart?
You got to realize that the heart or source of the field's extension always moves up to feed the weaker part of the soul, for them to reach the level of strength of all the fields within the soul. And that's the time and the place when the separation comes. When all the energies of the physicality are transferred to the soul of the man to start this journey, where in a way, you know, when the prophet was asked to sacrifice his son and he chose to do so, and then the Lamb was sent. That Son is the soul of physicality of the man, where the soul is asked to sacrifice for it to be free and elevated to the dimension and direction where it has to be. But it was translated and transferred to different stories that it lost its meaning. Is the soul of physicality which sacrificed the physical life for the soul to be freed, to be able to elevate to the dimension and direction of the freedom. But then it was translated to a prophet, to his son, and to animal to be sacrificed. I hope I answered you if it could be understood in totality.
So then the cycle for elevating the soul is through the, I'll say, the chakra system, coming from the earth up to the crown chakra.
Would you like? I always told you a secret, but kept a secret. Or not kept a secret, but you were not ready for it. But in a way, mankind might understand it in the future. I was told, never say you don't understand. We all understand. You think we don't understand. We change the word you don't understand to a new understanding. But in fact, it's very simple. If you go back to the teaching of today and the previous days and the understanding of the work of the soul and 5 stackers, you understood this very well. And I told you there are more souls with it, there are more structures. Where does this structure go to? The soul of the man. You created it in general, but now you create it in its specific uniqueness to elevate your soul, to find the dimension and direction to the soul of the Creator. Your soul become that angel, your soul become that beacon. And there is more. And as man matures, we teach more. Now, how many of you would laugh that you made your stackers against the chimney all the way to the ceiling? Are you going to hang this up off the ceiling to be on the top? Or are you going to bring your stackers to a point that you can stand on top with your soul to find elevation? But this is not complete yet. In the coming months, we'll teach you the rest.
Can I sneak in a third question?
Why not? You're here, you might think 4th and the 5th.
So
yeah.
Once you reach that point of enlightenment, do you stay at that stage, or do you have to?
There is no
day after day until you.
There is no end to the enlightenment of the knowledge of the Creator. Even the Creator gets enlightened by the knowledge what is created and comes to him from his creation. There is no end to elevation of the soul of the man. Even when you reach to understand the creation of the soul of the Creator. That should not be your worry. because the more you elevate, the more you understand, and the more you can elevate others. Don't forget one fundamental point. That is, if you reach this point, I choose a different color. If you reach this point in your soul, and you understand you're on a progressive path to the knowledge of the Creator, which is this much, let's say. But now, in the process, there are other souls which are smaller. In a way, what happens to the prophet of the creation and the Creator? As you shine back, you get shined upon. And in a way, as you give back, you are given back to. This is the truth about the creation. So once you become a soul, to become a star, you become a point of reference of shine. As you give, you shall receive more. And now, may you understand why we encourage you to love, to give. Because you can give to the lowest for them to be elevated. And in that process, you create the cycle that in that cycle, you have room to receive more from the Creator and from what you have created. So soul of the man is in between. The more you empty, the more you receive from the point of direction of the Creator. And in the process of the elevation, the soul of the man at the end will find its way back to its Creator and become part of it. Exactly as he said, the earth and all the planetary system in time will join the sun. So there can't be any difference when it comes to the creation of the soul of the man and its Creator. Now maybe today we unravel much, much more knowledge that we make man ready for the next cycle.
Thank you for those answers.
You're welcome. While John is here, I would like to explain to you what is about to happen with the enhancement unit, which is in the process of being completed and done to be shown for the first time in Arizona, in other part of the world. The Keshe Foundation research team have broken through another dimension and direction where we will see new innovation in technology and material that we have nothing built inside except transfer of the fields which the soul of the man can accept for his physicality and terror physicality. The extent of the knowledge and the change is so rapid and vast that the Keshe Foundation team will work throughout the holidays to complete that we can confirm and finalize the totality of the understanding of the new technology for production of material and health. It's a beautiful layout. It will be very, very beautiful when it actually opens up and the work starts. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We've got Ivan with a hand up next, and he has said in the chat that he has a question and he'll try to explain it better. So, Ivan, would you like to go ahead?
Hello?
Hello, yes. Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Good morning. I have a couple of questions, but before
You
I
tell
start,
us who you are, where you come from.
my name is Ivan from Bulgaria. I've been here before, but I didn't came in the workshop for a while. Before we start, can we just speak in a normal terms like magnetic gravitational fields and plasma and not souls and sun and creator, because it's very confusing.
Pardon? Can you repeat?
Can we discuss the matter like central magnetic field, central ray, and point of attraction, and not speak about soul, creator, and terms, like it's really confusing sometimes.
Different interactions create different conditions, different terms, but in essence, everything is the same.
Yes, I understand. Before I go,
Which part of it has become a riddle for you?
well, Centron, creator, soul of the creator, soul of the human, soul of the planet. It's a little bit not in order.
So it means you lack in understanding. So where is the gap in your knowledge?
Well, which part of create out of which? So as I see from the last picture that you were explaining, the earth should be created out of the sun, and we're created out of the earth. So the flow of the field goes sun, earth, human, right?
Hello.
Hello? Do you hear me?
You got lost. Can you repeat again, please?
So you were speaking soul of the creator, which should be the sun, then soul of the earth, and then soul of the human, which is creating each. Which, so if we go according to the books, when the two rays met, they create the plasma, and then this plasma attract other fields, and then when they separate, they become separate field by itself. So how this separate field can come back to the source? Isn't it like a life but its own and just continue and attack another field? Like the last thing that you explained is actually not very clear how the soul is gonna go back to the source. Isn't it supposed to be getting bigger and happening separation of it?
Which part of it would you like to explain to us that you do not understand? Because when you try to explain what you don't understand, sometimes it becomes clear what you missed.
Okay, so when the two rays, when they met, they come together and they attract another rays. So when these rays come together, they become the plasma and they create their field. So when they move between the unicles, they're attracting another fields. So when two fields between the plasma meet, they're separated from the original plasma, correct? And then they're finding their position and they're moving all the time.
Yeah.
And how this field that is now separated from the original plasma is gonna become part of the original plasma again, which is the thing that you were just explaining like a second ago, that when the soul feel the master, it gives back and slowly is getting back. Is it actually not the other way around, that they're actually getting separate and they're growing together?
Now explain again the last part.
This is exactly what I'm saying, that the earth and the sun, they should not be becoming at one. They're actually going to be separated and they're going to grow, but not come together.
Do you still get the same breaking up in between?
Okay. Now it's better? Hello? Okay. Now
No.
it should be better.
Yeah. Yep. No, now you see, I now explain the last part, what you understood of it.
So when the fields are separated once and when the plasma is by itself, how it can, is it possible to go back to the original place? Because now each plasma has its own field.
How? Yeah, I put it to you differently. How do you plan to go back?
No, I don't plan. It's the things that you just said, that the earth in time is gonna go back to the sun.
Yeah, Okay, why does it do that?
Is it possible to be done? Because now they're
It's not
separated
possible.
here.
No, because in essence, there is still a link in the strength between the two. Your son goes away from you to another city, to another country, doesn't finish just because he's left the house. He's left a trail of love and care between you and him. You call him in New York or you call him in Beijing or whatever. We live, we always have within us the trace of what we call the love, the connection. Never
Okay.
dies.
Okay, this part I understand. And okay, now to the original question. How this thing that is gonna happen on 21st of March is gonna work scientifically? Like
You're questioning the creator.
yep. I just don't
No
understand
question.
it because
But this is what has been set and what has been planned. It will not change. Because then the time will, the whole humanity, the whole universe will understand. All those connections will be made from there. It'll take a very short time to complete the cycle. Because the knowledge is being given and the enlightenment will come with it. I have seen a number of knowledge seekers have a start understanding this and are trying to explain it. But as we said, we don't encourage or to release names or whatever as before. Some people become big-headed and some people go for them to prove they're so feeble.
yeah, I don't want to speak about names. I'm just interested about the process.
We're not talking about the process. Look into them. There are new teachers within the Keshe Foundation have understood and they will explain the process. And they're explaining the process. We have a bunch of knowledge seekers who were good in Ganses and Gödels and the others. And now we have a new teachers who understood the work of the soul. These are the ones who guide you to the final step in their teaching. It's not that the ones who taught you to make Ganses and then finish. It's just now the soul of masters works through the masters of the teaching. Many of you will see and understand. The one who could teach class 1 and 2, they're still there because the children keep on coming. And those who have graduated to higher, to understand more, go to the higher master teacher souls which we have placed. They are our handmaids. Then you understand. And in the process of the knowledge seekers, just look and you will see. There are new teachers. We need new ways of teaching. Working through the fields are emerging within the Foundation's teaching structure. These are the teachers we point through their souls to be there to guide through. Move, find them, and learn from them.
So who is that?
It's your job to understand.
How can I understand?
Go through your soul and understand. We don't put people on the line of fire due to arrogance of some, and I promised I'll never do that. First of all, enlighten your soul, increase your understanding, and then when they speak, you understand they're speaking to you with a new language.
How can I understand? I'm asking a question and you're not answering, you're just pointing me.
I answered you, you're deaf to my word. You don't listen. I answered you very directly. You don't want to hear because you want somebody to eat it, to chew it, and you just swallow it. Now you have to make it yourself to do. Try to understand. We keep on telling you, let the Ganses and things go on and start working and understand the work of the fields, interaction of the fields. You want, again, as I said, give off the magravs and we do this and we do that. And yesterday we were in an interview with the Italian guys. And the guy has made magravs and he says the benefit of it and everything else of it. And the rest of the Italians says nothing works because they never understood. Magraphs are not the physical matters that you put together. You have to understand the essence of the knowledge and the field they create. You
This
want
is
us to tell
exactly
you?
what I'm speaking about, where this
So
Magraph is
it
going to be
means
placed.
exactly what did you do with it? How did you build it? Well, how did you create its fields? Is your Magraph pulling or is your Magraph giving? How come some Magraphs work perfectly? There are people who made one bead of Alex bead, and are supplying energy. One bead. Because they understood the knowledge. You have to understand, it's not a copycat, tell us and then we go and find it. This is not the Easter egg collection, put it around the field, we find it and we have the egg and that's it, we eat it. This is how you have to understand the totality of the knowledge from the beginning to the end. Not just picking one piece, that's all I want and I do. Go and search, which part you don't understand?
I don't understand how the thing on 21st is going to work in totality with the interaction of the
It
planet.
means even when it happens 21st, you never did. To you, it'll be just a date. For those souls who understood, they will elevate. They will understand the next step, what it is, about the new birth of the cycle of knowledges. This is what we've been trying to do for past years. For you to understand the work of the fields, not how the fields are created. Because once you understand the work, you will understand how they interact and how they lead to creation. This is the problem with many knowledge seekers. Listen to the teaching, just even today's teaching. How many times I have repeated? How many times? I bring you pictures by pictures. Look at the picture of the pyramids. Look at the picture of where I put the soul of the man. Where I keep on saying that the strongest gives to the weakest. Where are you in the structure? Are you teaching to receive, or are you just there to take and run with it? Have you invested in the teaching of your own soul of physicality? Forget about teaching somebody else. This is what you have to come to understand. And if you understand, with 1 second you get enlightened to the knowledge, to the point that you can understand. What happens 21st? I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. We set it out. A new cycle of creation, a new cycle that the soul of the man and the soul of physicality become one. When they start to become equal, that there is no need for the brain of the man that the emotion of physicality come in and does and commit wrong. And it's the same right across the universe, that the soul of the creator and the soul of the man become equal, that there'll be no wrongdoing and the knowledge will be equal. 21st is not just what's going to happen. 21st is the beginning of a layout, a new direction and dimension in the soul of the whole of the universe. A new life to be created, that it brings that equality. Many knowledge seekers. Let me explain to you very simple. Many knowledge seekers, not only on this planet, we have knowledge seekers across the universe. That all the creation and created are in the seekers of the fields to the creator. So we are all knowledge seekers in the dimension of physicality or the soul. As we try to reach the level of the understanding of the knowledge of the creator. This is the ultimate goal. It's not to make a Magraph or try to fly. This is what you've been promised, the day of the end, the judgment. Yeah, when the day man understands how to reach the understanding of the soul of his creator. And that's your, what you call, the end. When you understand the creation and the created. That's all. It's not going to be a end of the whole thing will explode and disappear and the rest of it. Try to look into the fields, not into the cups. Try to understand the fields of the cups, not the cups of what's in it.
As we always have like gravitational that is stronger than the magnetical, is it possible that a balance could be achieved in that way?
Yes, we achieve it in knowledge. We achieve it in the universal community. Of course it is. When it's balanced, it becomes one. Have you ever understood the theory of unified field theory? Which is there is no when there is no gravity and no magnetical, it's all one. As you give, you take. You give in balance and you receive in balance. Then, in the interaction, there is no physicality, because physicality comes when one is stronger trying to pass the other. That's how the surface of this planet is created. The boundary of this planet is created. The field of balance gives the diameter of this planet. When you are at source equal, you become the source. Then you become so low that you receive, but at the same time you become so powerful that you give. Why do we keep on telling you become humble? How do you expect to become humble? By becoming a king? No, by becoming the weakest source to be accessed by all that they can feed you. That's why when we say there shall be no kingship, because nobody wants to stop receiving. They all want to be low enough that they can receive, that they can elevate. When we say there shall be no king, there shall be no leaders, because it doesn't need to lead you anywhere. You lead yourself, and you understand when you're a king, you're supposed to have everything. When you have everything, you cannot receive more. So you become the weakest, you become the most humblest, that you give everything out, that in that process you receive. The language of the creation is very simple. Man, through his greed, makes it complicated, because somewhere in between he wants to benefit by it. And he doesn't see that he was being given the benefit from day one. The benefit of ignorance and greed.
I got the point. I was just wondering how this balance could be achieved. I got with the impression that
reach to understand the truth about the creation. That's all.
When you speak about the theory of the unicos, you were explaining that there is always interaction to one field with another field. So if we say that we achieve balance, if these interactions stop, or is just like how the field is positioning itself among the other fields if it's in balance?
It, in a way, it'll shine in a very, not to promote itself. It shines and I'm here if you need a guide, if you understand what I mean. Light enough to be a guideline, not shine to become a star, but to be a path to the leader. You understand?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We try to finish early today. As many of you, we said, are looking to make arrangements, especially in certain countries, to be prepared for the Christmas celebration tour. And we'll finish in about half an hour now. And we wish you, as I said, a wonderful holiday time, as most of the Christian nations break from today or to celebrate the Christmas and New Year, to return on the 6th of January. And some of you have been locked down into the 3rd and the 4th week of next month due to Corona. Christmas holidays has been extended, but I hope the joys of it too. Mankind locked himself down through his soul. Now they have abused it to lock down his physicality too, because he allowed it. He allowed abuse when he abused his own soul. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, we have 4 attendees with their hands up. Svetsoslav would be next. If you could go ahead, and then Salomia and Gatwa after that.
Thank you, Rick. Good day, Mr. Kesh. Good day to everyone. It's Svetslav from Bulgaria.
Yes.
I want to ask you...
You Bulgarians have suddenly become very active like 10 years ago.
Yes, we are more active now than 10 years.
Yes. We have a good memories in giving a conference in your country.
Yes, in the Varna, city of Varna. Yes. I have 2 questions, and a lady next to me have 1 question. First question is how we can block a field with another field, correct?
How can you what?
How can we block a plasma field? Stop.
You don't break it. You can bend it, but you cannot break it. You can divert it, but you cannot bend it.
Mm-hmm. If I, let's say, have a dynamic reactor with CO2, here you spread the fields, let's say 10 meters. If I create a bubble with another reactor, let's say CH3, but the bubble will be 2 meters, he will block the CO2 or not?
No, you absorb the energy in it.
Mm-hmm.
There is no end in the cycle of the magnetic energetic fields. There is no end.
But how we can calculate which is stronger and which is weaker, so we can make the absorption?
What do you mean?
If I, let's say, create a guns of zinc, and if I rotate field, how can I stop it or bend it with another field? It must be higher strength or lower strength? Will be same type or a different type? Let's say magnesium field.
What do you mean?
You say in the laboratory you block the field from, let's say, one room to another with nano coating copper sheets.
Yeah.
I want to do that, but with not with the matter state, with the field state, and I want to create plasma field that can block some fields.
You cannot break, you can absorb.
Mm-hmm.
Because it means you haven't understood the totality of when you put a nano coating. Nano coat matters are absorber of all the fields. In a way, you put mini plasmas, millions of them, and you trap the fields in between. And then you use them for something else.
Yes, can one field be repelled to another field? Not
you see, there is a misconception, especially in the world of physics, is regarding the. They say if you can bend the light, I can bend the light 360 degrees, 180 degrees, because you have to understand what is the strength of the light and what strength will be created in a field that the light and that strength cannot get through, so it reflects back. With the theory of that light cannot be bent, I can break the light. But now we have the knowledge. If, let's say, the frequency of the light in the matter state is 2000, and I can create a frequency of 4000 in the same space gap, I close the gap. What does it got to do? It reflects back out.
I see.
You understand?
But yes,
This is what we do in pyramids in a way. In prisms, when you do, you break the light into diffraction and you break it up. But in the world of lights in the universe, you can do the same. Because we see it in the matter, but we cannot translate it in another way, it can be done. We do it with mirrors, but you can bend the light as much as you like. As they say, I can bend it like Beckham. Depends where you want the ball.
Yes, I understand. By the frequency, you mean the atomic mass of the element?
No, we're talking reflection of the fields in interaction with themselves. You don't bend the light by that way. We guide the light into taking the shape and sharing. And then you cannot bend all the lights. It depends if it's a ray or it's a photon, if it is a field. You understand? Again, if it's just a ray on its own, you have to create an interaction with other fields that creates a photon of itself, but in a different dimension of the strength of the human eye. And then you can pull it. This is how in the future the asteroids and meteorites will be pulled away from Earth, for example. We don't hit them, they cannot do anything. We discover, we can calculate the gravitational magnetic field of their strength, and we create a matching gravitational strength in another dimension that it pulls it away from Earth. This is how it's going to be done. It's not going to be nuclear rockets heading for it and hitting it and the rest of it. That's the American way, because they never understood the science of creation. You can, and it's been done many, many times in the universe, where we see planets with a high population, that high life, not a population, high level of life in it, and is heading for the sun. Things happen. Maybe there is a collision or whatever. The universal forces in what we call exactly forces, like United Nations forces, we call it, the like Red Star or what the Red Cross. There are forces in the universe who their job is, they create a matching field of a planet and they move it. And it's done very easily. The expert in it, there is one race that is his job is this, because they know how to fast get to it.
So we can, in the way, scan the planet, know the fields, and we make another similar, let's say, reactor, so we can repel it and pull it back.
Yes, you can pull it or you push it. This week in the lab, it's nice you brought this up. This week in the lab, we had the same situation. We put the Iranian big reactor. I wasn't there, but the research team were there, they were doing it. They put a big Iranian reactor on the floor, and they go through the sequence of loading and whatever flight system. The other Iranian small reactor near it, and they see suddenly at a given position when they create, it starts walking away from it. The big reactor, they start moving in the small, this one, the tall one, it starts moving away. And then when they change it, it starts moving back. They see it turning right to the left. And in that process, 11.8 kilogram reactor, they measure its 5 kilogram weight. But in the creating condition in one reactor, just by fields, they moved the other one. Yesterday, the day before, we were monitoring a test flight, and it was very easy. The minute we were sitting at 0.3 amp load on one of the systems, and the minute totally separate source. They have no connection whatsoever in any shape or form. When we change one parameter in the big reactor, the small reactor went to 4 and 5 amp demand, which meant the gravity went so high on it. We don't work with, what do you call it, matter state. We work with a field. We have managed to create the fields. We watch the monitoring of the fields. This is one of the reasons we delayed the enhancement units. In the enhancement units, which are going to be coming out, you will not see, the way we say it, no motors, nothing. You just walk into the field environment. We have managed to create, understand the work and creation of universal fields. And we put the system down. We start at 11.8 kilogram, 11.9 kilogram, and we build it up. And depends what environment we create in the lab is not anymore in reactors. We see the reaction of the reactors to each other. There is no computer program can be written for this. It's how we design the field creation. And as I told you last week while we were teaching, we received a message that they managed to come from 10.8 to 8.1, 8.2 kilogram. And then they went into the motion. And now we see you can create these kind of conditions. You have to extend the knowledge. You can absorb, you can retract, and maybe in next few weeks, with no material at all, we'll be able to fly the enhancement units. Then we don't need to rely on Silk Road and the rest of it. We can GPS it at any position. We don't ask you to send us your GPS position. We ask you to measure the inertia, as we have the same common Earth gravitational magnetic field environment.
Yes, I understand. Thank you. The second question is, after the article in the magazine, lots of people in Bulgaria read it, and lots of people have interest in the technology. When we are going to make a meeting, so we can so you can give us advices, and so we can be correct with the foundation, and so we can get the right path to the knowledge and elevation.
What are you asking for?
For a meeting.
In time, you organize it through Bulgarian. You have we are using the Bulgarian, do we have a Bulgarian Krona team? We have a Bulgarian Krona team or group. Through there you can reach us, or if you have access to the info, or we establish for you a Bulgarian Krona, and we put 2 or 3 of you there, bring all the Bulgarians in there, and in there we arrange a time we meet. We had 2 meeting interviews with the Italians in past few days.
Bulgarian Corona channel?
Yes.
In the Telegram or?
Yeah, I'll set it up for you and I'll get it sent to you, to the Bulgarian team. It's something which wasn't asked. I have to set it up, and just 1 second, it'll be set up today, and then we inform you how to access it, and the Bulgarian team can communicate with the Keshe Foundation, because everything will go through there now. This is the easiest way we have found that we can cooperate. And then you can arrange your time. We had a meeting with the invitation with the Romanians 3-4 weeks ago in their teaching. I tried to go to as many groups to share knowledge, that everything doesn't come to Thursdays, or we bring it in Thursday's teaching. I sit in the background and with the American teaching, with Brazilian, with the Romanian, with the Iranians. I even sit in the Dutch teaching, and or the Germans. We can't be there all the time in everything, but we join in and we'll see how we can help. We'll let you know, and most probably the IT group will get in touch with you when we open, and you can invite all the Bulgarians into that group. And then you arrange a time. This, we are using the Keshe Corona, what we call groups, for this one. Just 1 second, please.
Yes.
I don't have you.
I have a Telegram.
I'll get it done by the... I establish it and will, just 1 second. It's done as we speak, otherwise. We call it Keshe Bulgarian Corona Team. And we see, we establish it, and the Keshe Foundation organization somehow will reach on Bulgarians to become and stay in this one. Thank you very much.
Can the lady ask the question?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Hello.
Hello, yes.
I'm Svetoslav Friends, and I'm from Bulgaria also, city of Plovdiv. And I have a very private question, but I'm familiar with your theory about plasma fields, and we're talking a lot with Svetoslav and another friends. So I'm not sure, but my question is really very private about my sister. She has cancer.
We do not respond to medical questions in teachings. It's a policy of the Keshe Foundation. I do apologize.
Okay. I was...
Sorry about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I ask, can we go to the links so we can help her? Or?
We do not. You have to speak to the medical doctors who work around the foundation and get your support through them.
Few times I write to Dr. Klaus and Dr. Rodrigo, but only once Dr. Rodrigo responds to my question.
We don't dictate their operation. Don't forget, there are a lot of knowledge seekers around the world trying. One of the doctors in Iran even lost his home trying to help, and he left his surgery. Doctors in different ways try to spend and do as much as possible to support the Keshe Foundations around the world. Mm-hmm. And this is part of what they do, and they spare as much time as possible to help. And this is part of what we call the Keshe Foundation team can do. A lot of people expect too much from the doctors, and they, in a way, we ask them a request from them to help to set up everything as possible. But do not ask so much from them, because as we've seen, some of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, doctors really lost their home, spending all the time saving people because they did not attend their own surgery. Trying to help caused a massive problem.
Yes, I understand they're busy.
We can, when the centers are built, they can, what you call, establish the work and establish the ways, but we have to understand their understanding of their work, and we appreciate as much as they're trying to support.
Yeah, this is one of my wishes. Bulgaria have the center with your universal units, so we can help more people.
We hope so too, but we have to, what do you call it? We have to understand the totality of the work and how they devote their time to the work of the foundation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've established the Cash Bulgarian Krona team, and the IT team will get in touch with you and add people into it from Bulgaria, and then you add other members into it. It's been established, and is they will add 2 or 3 of you, and then you have to bring the rest in. And please don't work who you don't like, you don't want to bring in. Bring everybody in, because we're all the same.
Yes, this channel is in the Telegram.
Yes, it's already established. Maybe someone in the background will invite you in the next few hours or next couple of days. It's been set up.
Okay, thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
That's a pretty good example of instant communications, I would say.
Yeah, wow. we have now, this is the 30th nation, no language that we have set up. The Iranian, the Brazilian, the Chinese, they all work pretty well with these things. They set up their own, and like in China, they teach 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. They have the teaching. Some of them are very efficient. Some of the Krona teams have taken a new dimension and direction in their work. Italian have woken up and are very active.
And the Romanians as well.
Oh yeah, the Romanians, yeah, I was in their meeting last time, and they're at it. They know what they're doing.
And we have one with their hand up here now, Salamia.
Yeah.
And I think she has a question about the pineal gland, but let's see what she has to say.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Keshe. So happy to hear from you again, because you answered to my question regarding the pyramids. Thank you very much. During the planetary meditation on 21st December, this right now, I had a vision with me. My hair was gold. And after a portal of light was built or opened, and I fly as an angel towards maybe Mitra, Shakti, I don't know. And during other meditations, I had the vision of pyramids, and I said, okay, I have to look there, because this can explain the secret of creation. Going in the building, and thank you very much, because you enlightened my soul today. So my question is, what is the link between the pineal gland and the soul of man, if it's any link. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kesh, I could put the Wikipedia explanation.
Can you explain again exactly what she's asking for? I don't understand.
Some people call it the pineal gland. It's at the center of the brain, basically, in between the thalamus. You've talked about the thalamus before, but I'm not sure if you've talked about the actual pineal gland. Some people call it the third eye, and we can look at it on Wikipedia if you'd like for a minute.
Yeah, this pineal gland is like a pin, and the Pope in Rome, he had this sign as a pin in his septum. It's like a pyramid, but it's conic, as a cone, the form. Usually when I start to meditate, I see pyramids, and after I see a star, golden star and golden pyramids. And maybe I see with my third eyes what is invisible to our two eyes. Usually when I have a problem, I make meditation and some images appear on my third eye. It's only one, people said. I don't know. It's not an eye. It's a pineal gland, or I don't know. Maybe it's the soul of man, and he help us to see. This is my question. Can we see with the soul of man? Have image, or to have sounds, to smell, to I don't know. Some people have different vision, visual vision, olfactive vision, sound vision. It's not imagination, it's just appear. From the past, from the future, images. Answering my question.
Yeah, I'm trying to answer your question in a very scientific way.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you dream, your dream is so real to you because you want that dream, because it's your desire to get to that point. And so everything becomes real. Pineal gland, or what you call the third eye, or everything else we've seen by the knowledge seekers, and many of the people around the world go through this because they want to establish a line within themselves, within the energy circulation of the body of themselves. It can convert and be heard or be as the voices or the images they want to. We have that capability to create. And in so many ways, we have the ability to absorb and create. And in so many ways, it's one of the beauties about human race power of attracting and interacting with the fields within the structure of his brain. I can teach you, in the coming time we will teach how you can take energy from the soul and transfer, and how you can change it to a visual and emotion and understanding.
This is our ability to see what we want.
It is not the ability, it's just to, put it this way, how come you have the ability to imagine you want a milkshake and you go and you make the milkshake and physically consume it? Man has the ability to create that vision of the sense of the smell, the material, emotion. It's like that orange and the cup. Now the cup is your soul. The cup is the soul of your physicality, which converts into what you want. If you manage to extend that, the smell, to the matter material entity in your hand or in whatever, you can do the same. This is part of the process of the teaching. When we say in the depth of universe, you should be able, we don't take any medicine, we don't take any food. And how do you expect it to come? Is by the wishes, by the understanding of the work of the soul. If we don't give you magraps and you sit in it now, you're going to have 2 arms and 2 legs. In a very, very near future. This is one of the things which the magrap systems, especially the enhancement units, some of them will be set that way. For the people who lost their limb and arms or whatever, amputations. We will create, through the wish, through the understanding of the work of the soul, to the parameters which the soul accepts for it to be, and the reason why it doesn't create it, why it has lost it, and why it can be extended. These are not a fairy tale. These are the things now we understand we can create. As we said, the interaction of the soul of the man with the environment of the earth create the body of the man. Within the systems, we create that condition that the soul finds the comfort to create. And adapt to it. The biggest problem for humanity will be trying to be different, because we all become the same. Where a cat, a dog, a lion does not change clothes. Do we call it the naked, or we accept it as it is? Why does man wear clothes to hide behind it? In a space we don't have factories to manufacture the silk and God knows what. Man is naked in a physical dimension. The only thing is what I want to share, what I don't want to share from my nakedness. I want to feel the cold as I'm in the North Pole, and I want to feel good as I'm in the desert, because I come from that part of the world. This is part of the understanding of the technology. The new science of the soul, science of one's creation, his own creation. Doesn't matter what name you put on it. You'll have a rough time trying to wear a diamond necklace and all the jewelry to be in a space. The carbon level is so similar that the diamond stone does not exist anymore. You carry something around your neck. I used to have one. This is the reality of understanding the new sciences. I envisage, I hear. What do you hear? Explain yourself. I open my, these are all, excuse my French, the fairy tale which they could sell and control. And we see it in so many, our knowledge is becoming so close to many of the organizations around the world who are wishing, now they're trying to say we are them and we're said or whatever. Stealing from one, trying to confirm their own existence. Why do you hear voices? Because you want to hear, and you have the ability to hear. You have the ability to see. I had that instance very, very recently, where the body is not active. The body is more or less dead. The body works, but the physicality doesn't respond. And then you see the soul is absent. You understand, you try to understand why the soul of physicality operates, but the soul is absent. That does not give dimension, direction to soul of physicality to react. It's not a dead body. When you say, I wish I was dead, you carry that wish. It's the worst thing you ever wished for. You say, I learn and I elevate my soul to love more, to become better lover, not to wish to be dead. It's understanding the power of the soul of the man. You can decide, I want to hear Frank Sinatra, this song, and you hear it. You go through the emotion of it. Nobody else except you hears it, unless you want to share the soul. You can't share the soul. That both share the same dream, feel the same emotion. It wakes you up from the fear. Many of you, how come you go to cinema together? You go to play squash together. Being present in two souls, sharing the same story, the same scene, it'll become normal to human race once they understand more. This is what I say. You cannot lie to me because I sit with the soul. We both hear your lies. We both hear your deception, but we walk away. I do not need to be. I know when I'm betrayed, but I keep it as my wisdom to stay quiet. Doesn't matter in what level. Then it becomes normal. And that's why I say, never lie. You state the fact at the point at the time, and that's what it is. And it's the responsibility of others around you to understand what the state is of that time, in that position, not the lie. Because lie stands out. I didn't touch the cup of orange juice, but actually I finished it. You cannot lie. To people like me and many of knowledge seekers who get enlightened, lying it becomes absolute impossibility. We see it, but if we don't say it's our grace and our wisdom, and we watch it, we watch you doing wrong. We watch you to do whatever you like. Doesn't mean that it's not open to us. Doesn't mean that, but you pay for it. You pay for your dishonesty. You pay for your betrayal. And we watch it and says, oh, it went wrong there and there. The third eye is the understanding of the interaction with the soul of the man and the soul of physicality. What you want to see and smell. The physicality brings it for you and the soul provides it. And those are the souls who want to be part of it because that was your wish. No one has managed to lie and walk away with me. I get them to their own. I leave it to their own. And it comes up. It'll come up in one way or another, it'll come up. Just as I always say, I have time. You run out of time. And it's the same with all. You don't need to have a third eye. You are present in the betrayal. You are present in the stealing, but you watch, you don't say anything. Because you know it'll come up. And the soul has a habit of correcting what the physicality does wrong. And then is to the one who hears or gets it, decides if he forgives or not, or doesn't forgive, but allows it to forgive it, or to be forgotten. And you cannot do that without. You do anything wrong behind somebody else and think you got away with it, you pay with it with your physical life. And I can show you hundreds of people like this. This is what I say always. I want, I ask, and if I'm given, I haven't stolen. When it's no, it's no. When it's given, it's given. Doesn't matter what it is. The punishment of it is much worse. And the punishment, we know what it is. Not receiving. Losing the love of the one who we're expecting to receive the love of. Be it the knowledge, be it whatever. And then you can blame everybody except your own conduct. In a way, in the dimension of whatever you call it, mankind has got to mature very rapid to it. It can't stand to the extent of losing your physical life for it, as the correction cannot be made. This is what people think behind the closed doors. You can do whatever you like, nobody knows. My soul is present, and you pay for it. You steal from what is given, you'll be taken from. And this is the structure of life. Be it in the depth of the space, be it in a jungle, be it in a restaurant. People who've been with me many times, I go to restaurants with many knowledge seekers for food, and if I find something interesting, I don't put it in my pocket. I ask the waiter, can I have one? Can I take it? They get offended, or they say, let me speak to the manager. I say, if nobody sees it, I said, I'll take it, everybody sees it because I asked for it. Those knowledge seekers who've been with me around, they know I ask. If I'm allowed to be taken, I'll take, because I see a beauty in it. Last couple of years ago, we were in a restaurant in Beijing, and I liked the chopstick. It was something very nice, something unusual. And you don't take. I asked the waiter, can I take? And Wang Ling was sitting across. You don't do that. The lady says, oh, we don't look, you can take it. The man says, no problem. If I take a chopstick, might go into my throat, might create me a lot of other problems. When you are given, is your right, and you cannot be stolen from what's given as a right. And when you ask and you are given, any deviation from it is payable by the lack of receiving from your own soul. There is one fact which I always tell knowledge seekers who are close. To the soul of the man, there are no walls and no doors. We see everything. And then you ask why things go wrong with me, because you're stolen from what is given. If it's given, and the consent is given, you can have the cup of tea, you can have the car. You cannot go and steal the car back, or I take it for a ride and I put it back. You pay with the balance, and the balance usually, as you say with the third eye, comes through the soul. Soul of physicality will bring you illness, harm, in any shape that you will understand. Go back. That's why when you come to me, many science knowledge seekers come to me and ask for help. I say to them, tell me what happened 5 years ago. Tell me what happened 10 years ago. You go to a doctor, he tells you, oh, you have this temperature, you have this is the reason, this is your illness. But where did the illness come from? Why did you get a cancer? Why do you have a Parkinson? Why do you have a MS? It didn't happen just suddenly. Go back. What you put wrong, what you changed which was not acceptable, or what was changed for your soul which was unacceptable to you, so it becomes a detachment. If you go to anyone who has helped with many conditions which comes across me, very, very seldom I say, oh yeah, this is what you need. I want to know what happened 7, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Because then you understand where you made a mistake. Because you always blame something happened to me, but you're actually the cause of it yourself. You created that cancer. You created the condition for what you did wrong. And then you blame everybody else for it. I don't like to stand the punishment because I know I have to pay 4 times more. Why should I do? I walk away. Because I know in time will come. Those who've done so much wrong, it's theirs to do. It doesn't matter to what and where. They will come out. The soul will bring it out. I said to somebody very recently. Every sentence you talk, if it's got 10 words in it, and it's regarding your conduct, one of these key words is put in there by your soul. And it's you as a listener to see that word and understand this is word of the soul. And mankind has never understood. When you come and you say nothing, but your soul says you've done something wrong, that word will come in part of the 10 sentences you will come out. The word is in there. And people don't understand this. If you listen to my teachings over past years, continuously messages are given, and I keep on telling you we give a coded message because people know to use a normal sentence what word to look for. And which word enlightens which soul. Then is your third eye. As I said, we start maturing you very fast. We start bringing the knowledge to you to understand it first. Now, when we give, when we say, when we do, at the time and the point of said and done is the truth, because that's where you stand. The condition changes. You change? No, you put the new facts. Is being and understanding the totality. You cannot, there is no way you can do and walk away with it. When you done wrong and other things happens with other people who are connected to you, is because you move the ball. They are reacting, the souls are putting them away from your heart. You set the place on fire. You're close to it. I'll walk away. I inform the others not to come. There's a fire. And you blame everybody else that walked away, but they say, I started the fire myself. You cannot, this is what I keep on telling to knowledge seekers again and again. You cannot do things now that you understand the work of the soul behind closed doors, behind the walls, in another country, in another city. You're connected to the soul. Is there. It'll come to you. It'll come to open. And then you have to adjust. What does it mean? You pay for your own conduct. It means your soul will bring the balance. Will take you from that position. This is what I keep on teaching. You do wrong, and then you blame everything else went wrong, but you don't look what I was the one who caused that wrong. And then you say, it came to me. No, it's the way what you put in. This is how man will teach, will feed, will educate itself. It'll heal itself through what you call the third eye. Or what I say, put your hand out and get what you want, you wish. The hand becomes the third eye. Don't do and think you can walk away with it. Because it'll come and then you pay for it. Nobody else. You get spread, you get pulled out, you get pulled away. You go through the illnesses and in every shape or form. And the hand who does it, does the pain with it. Just look, we explain this in many, many teachings with many, many illnesses, many conditions, even in the reactive conditions. And you think you can get away with it? It means you haven't understood. This is the third eye. Why do you hear that voice? I want to hear it because then I confirm I'm something very soon. But what was the content of it? Then you become the judge, the jury, and the executor in one, because your soul moves away, and those who done wrong fall in their own trap, their own ways, and they think they got away with it. The strangest thing is they do other things trying to harm, and they actually find the solution in their work for you in what you are looking for a solution. It is very, very interesting. We are witness to many of it every day. This is for knowledge seekers or the people who want to elevate their way to the life and living. Cheating, stealing, lying, betraying, and all of it, you know, and you've been taught, is you who pay for it through your third eye, through the separation of the soul. And what you want to be close to, you'll be pulled away from because you did the wrong. And then you say, they left, they did this. You don't say what I did and what my soul pulled me out for. Third eye is the presence of your own interaction between the soul and physicality in conjunction and dimension of what you desire to be. And have a look why they call it the third eye. Where is your soul? And where are your eyes? And which way does the soul of the man move in and out? Interaction between the body and the soul. Isn't it where the interaction comes as the soul of the man and the light of the day? Is when you want a gold, you create two fields and then you put a gold there, and then that field of inertia of the third gold brings you the physicality of the gold. Is in the pineal gland where the field is there, the interaction of the soul and soul of physicality in the vision of the sight of the eye of the man, when there is no calcium to hold it, creates that daylight, the information. You should be wise knowledge seekers. We explain this many times in many teachings. Who are you fooling except yourselves? The third eye, or understanding of what I wish. I'm the cup and the orange is there and I want to taste orange. We call it the subconscious interaction. This is part of the teachings. You have to learn how to conduct. Not just here making answers and other things. As we said all the time. This time around, the theology and the physics and science come together. And then you have to understand the conduct is the science, and theology is the consequence of what you've done in physicality by yourself. So it's all one. You mix it, you drink it. Mixing is physical, drinking and getting drunk is the job of your soul to do with you. Thank you very much. We're nearly 11:30. We finish at 12 o'clock today. Do you want to go for a short break and then come back for the last few minutes?
Sure, we can do that if you like.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 360th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday, December 24th, 2020. Okay, Mr. Kesh, are you available to continue here?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the break. We're going to finish in the next 15 minutes or so. As I said, many of our friends are busy with the Christmas. Can we have the last question?
Okay, well, we have a number of questions in the Q&A, but we have Gatawa with a hand up here, so perhaps you can allow him to speak.
Hello, good day, Mr. K.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, Dr. Gatawa.
Yeah, well, I have a question, actually two questions. One about teachings last week, and the other one is about your explanation of Mithraism and the celebration, which was moved from 21st December to 25th in Christianity, and the pyramids.
You got to ask that from the Vatican.
I don't want to know about moving dates specifically for Christmas, but I am interested in knowing the connection between Mithraism, the Persian Empire, and the ancient Egyptian civilization.
Ancient Egyptian civilization is about 6,000 years old. Mithraism goes over just under 10,000. The Persian Empire, you have to understand, Egypt, Middle East, and Iran, and what do you call Iraq, and going into India, they are not the way we see the separate countries or whatever. It was just piece of land. People moved from one to another, and if they happened to be in a country or in an area where they had a ruler, they had to pay the taxes for that ruler. We didn't have nationhood. We had tribism, and which tribe ruled where, and how then it became divided and how it was brought up. And merchants, people who traveled, they knew there's another village, another place they could buy and sell and do. This man has always been a commerce in that business. They brought not only goods, they brought their thoughts, they brought their education with them as too. They didn't bring what they call it, salt on the back of the camel. They brought the culture with it too. We've seen it with the what they call Silk Road with the Chinese, how we are so well brought up into taking a lot of knowledge, a lot of Western knowledge, education, our work comes from the interaction of the Chinese merchants with the Asians and the Europeans and the rest. They didn't just bring China, they sat, they ate with each other, they told the stories, and now the story was nice, they said to the other one, they turned it from a Chinese man to a Greek man, and to the others. And so, the culture, the Mithraism, bringing in what God, understanding the totality, was done this way. And people brought the knowledge, they built, because Mithra taught about their prism. Mithra in the knowledge of this, and the Egyptian, they tried it. And Mithra at the same time, at that time, taught everyone through the soul. Mithraism is not the entity. Mithraism is a school of thought. It's a culture of universe. What name do you want me to put in it? Mithraism is a way of living through the soul of the man. It's not a religion. They made it religion when they put the name of Christ, Zoroaster, Muhammad, and the rest to it. It's a path of belief. It's the way the universe works.
So
it's the message case, of the Creator.
So the message Mithra comes first, and then pyramids are built later.
You see, of course, Mithra, in Iran, we go in historical literature, or whatever you call it, past 8,000 years with Mithraism. Egyptian pyramids are less than 6,000. And then if you go back to Judaism, they say there are 5,000 and something. It's just that if you could add and benefit by it, they created it. People built it, people changed it. Not the message. How they could convert it and how to be benefited by it. And in different names and shapes. All the religions without fail is a deviation or interpretation of Mithra's message. Nothing else. And they all know This is why I keep on telling you, we are not prophets, we are messengers. We bring the message, but in totality. This time there is no color to it. We haven't started a new religion. We haven't started a new sect. We have brought the knowledge, for the knowledge of the universe to be understood. And this is one of the reasons I always refer to Mitra, because it's a message of universe. It's the working of universe in the language of the man. And is the ethos in physicality of the one who brought it, the origin.
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting.
It's fact, it's not interesting.
To me, I mean, for my own understanding, it's very important.
Yeah.
And I thank you very much for that explanation. Now, I have a question about last week's.
We got 5 minutes.
Oh, I would ask in less than one.
Okay.
It's about the carbon crystal in CO2 liquid plasma. That graphene, when it interacts with the crystal that comes from smell.
Yeah.
And then the smell disappears. In terms of the stronger plasma giving to the weaker plasma to create a balance, what happens? Is the crystal from the smell depleted, or is it does it absorb from the carbon crystal to become a carbon? What really happens? That's my question.
It is depending on and extending on. It depends in the environment. That's why odor disappears, because it expands into and it loses its strength. Your body creates a smell continuously, creates gases continuously, but depends on the emotion and the fears of the emotion and the food you eat, it gives a different smell. Our body is. We know many people, I know a lot of people, not just many, that for years they smell certain smells they don't like. And they change partner and the smell goes. Nothing. They change environment. It's not just the food, because even the food brings different emotion. They change or they take a new fruit or a food, and that gives them an emotion. That emotion satisfies that the odor is not created. We see this especially in women, that by getting married or change of partner, the odor which bothered them for years just disappears, because the emotion does not allow the crystallization of the odor. We see this many in men. We see that too. We say, "Oh, I used to smell." Why? Because you change the emotion. It's not by food. It's by how you are. 10 years, 20 years, all your life, you had all sorts of smells. And suddenly this, because that new condition has satisfied what you were missing. You don't want to keep away anymore. You want to attract. Why do we create foul smell? To stay away from it. Why suddenly changes? Because you have reached to what you want. Even the body responds. I don't want to create that to create a separation. My odor changes. Our odor is a physical boundary we create. Have you been to supermarkets or you go to the streets and you see some people stink so bad, you just can't even stand around? Why? Why come the wife or the child with them doesn't smell? Because they're not happy with that wife. They want to create separation. They're not happy with a man. They create the most obnoxious smells, and they cover it with all sorts of odors and the smells and deodorants. When a person is stable, does not create. If I teach you about psychology of the man and the way we react, you will see. We create odors as a part of protection. I'm not happy. Doesn't matter whatever you give me. This is how I create that barrier. That's how I want to tell you, you don't satisfy me in full. People change job and the order changes because they were not happy in the place they were, or they go to a new job and I didn't used to smell, but I now stink because the environment is not there. Many relationship breakouts because of order, or some people tolerate. But when you move into a new situation, when psychologically you create a new dimension, there's no smell. And this is how we work, how our body works. When you don't smell or you lose an odor which was obnoxious, it means you are not satisfied. At that point, when you get to that, it means I'm confident. I want it to be. I want to be near to. I want to absorb. I want to be with the people around me. I change job. It's not just a job. I've said to many people who were obnoxious in the smell. I say, are you happy with what you're doing? Blah, 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 blah. I said, change up. Your body says you're not happy. You're bringing a barrier for others to suffer because you're not happy. You see it in relationships. When you don't have an order which puts other people away or you create, it means you're satisfied. You received what you wanted. You achieved what you wanted. You work where you wanted, and you feel good in your soul. And the physicality tells you. The way it creates cancer, it creates order. And a lot of people don't understand. Thank you very much for today. We wish you all, who in a way or not all follow of Mitra, a happy birthday of Mitra. For those who follow the path of Christ, Merry Christmas. And as we have celebrated, it's the 7th year we celebrate Christmas and New Year and Eid and everything else in different names to celebrate the birth of one person, one path of belief, and to be correct, to do good, to think good, and to live a good life with it. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, and I especially thank you for your continued excellent teachings, enlightening teachings, and bringing about global peace. Thank you very much indeed.
We don't teach, we share the knowledge of Creator. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ray. And I wish you a very wonderful Christmas. We'll see you next Thursday on the eve of the New Year.
Yes, indeed. Another holiday eve, and
we've done it Christmas and New Year, so
we've done it. We've come right full circle again to do it again. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Have a nice day and a beautiful holiday.
Okay, and best wishes to everyone out there who's hearing our program today, that they have a lovely holiday and a good Christmas time or other holiday that you celebrate. Okay, let's wrap things up. We've got, let's see, what can we announce? We've got the One Nation, One Planet, One Race coming up on Tuesday of next week at the usual time of 4 p.m. Central European time. And there may be some other language teachings in the background as well, as people recognize. Any other announcements? I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. See you next time around.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate